Throughout the 6 official seasons of the Star Wars The Clone Wars TV show, I think a lot of us became desensitized to the countless clone deaths we constantly saw in nearly every episode. In saying this, however, this wasn't always the case, because every once in a while, good old George Lucas and the team would slip in brutal and sometimes even barbaric deaths for the laughs. These barbaric clone deaths left many of us slack-jawed, and in today's video, we're gonna relive the 5 most brutal deaths seen in the Clone Wars. Keep in mind, this video is based on my opinion, and some of you may have your own lists that I do encourage you to share in the comments. It was sometime early into the Clone Wars, and the Republic had just learned of the infamous General Grievous, and were utilizing all their resources in order to bring the Jedi Killer to justice. The Republic was so intent on taking him down, that they pretty much walked willingly into one big separatist setup, that ended up killing everyone but Kid Fisto in a variety of ways. One of the worst being the unknown clone trooper who fell into a deadly trap.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Although it was never stated what this particular trap actually was, the one thing we can safely assume is that it was designed to be merciless and painful. Just by glancing at this scene, one can assume that our poor clone was either incinerated, or even worse, carbonated. The second Battle of Geonosis was chaotic and extremely bloody. Both sides lost an innumerable amount of troops, and the Republic only won by a hair's breadth. Not all clones were rejoicing, however, and for the clones who were essentially kidnapped by the Geonosians, one can only assume the worst. The clip just shown was one of many clone kidnappings we saw throughout the second Battle of Geonosis, and although it's not 100% confirmed, whatever they did to the clones once captured wasn't anything good. I personally believe that the poor clones kidnapped were sources of food for the Geonosians, and even a delicacy for the upper echelons of the bug society. Imagine that, training all your life just to become a bug's dinner. Bon appetit. Well kids, life isn't fair, and unfortunately sometimes it can be absolutely brutal as well. This isn't true in the case of one unknown clone we see on Ryloth, who became the only victim of the native beast called the Gutker. This poor clone was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, and after being pretty much tackled by the Gutkers and ditched by his fleeing friends, the starving creatures decided to bestow him with a particularly brutal death, and began tearing him apart in an effort to satisfy their hunger. They didn't get far though. I mean, clones don't wear phase 2 armor for nothing. After losing a devastating space battle to the Separatists, Obi-Wan's Republic cruiser is boarded by none other than General Grievous. Although Grievous was usually portrayed throughout the Clone Wars as extremely tame, he did have his moments, and unluckily for our unknown clone at our number 2 spot, Grievous showed us his true colors in Obi-Wan's hangar.
You'll regret that.
This death would probably be number 1 on my list, as it takes the cake as the most brutal and barbaric in that aspect. The unknown clone we see in the clip was terrified and was visibly squirming under the metallic heel of General Grievous. Soon after, Grievous, in an attempt to demoralize Obi-Wan and the remaining clones, simply crushed the poor clone's head in front of everyone. Well, the tactic seemingly worked, as we see the cruel act make even Obi-Wan, who is widely considered one of the most calm of Jedi, visibly angry for just a split second.
You'll regret that.
by far the most painful and scarring deaths of them all, when the Citadel squad are climbing through the intricate vent system of the Lolaseyu prison complex, an alarm is triggered, and the metallic vent doors are subsequently shut in an attempt to kill or maim its victims. For one extremely unlucky clone, the trap works, and just before he was able to be pulled up and saved by his brothers, he is cut in half.
We lost one. Looks like we've got some cutting to do.
To be honest, there's not much else to say about this one, other than that it's in my opinion, the single-handedly most brutal and gruesome deaths in all of the Clone Wars. I mean, the fact that we didn't even see it, and it still shook many of us, means that it must have been pretty terrible. Not to mention that the clone would have likely still had consciousness for a few seconds after the ordeal. Anyways guys, that's it for my list, so now I want to hear it from you. Do you have your own list? Which clone do you think got it worst? Also, just before you go guys, you may be able to tell that I'm super chuffed about my 100,000 subscriber milestone. I mean, it's just massive. So in celebration of this, I've launched an awesome yet limited range of Geetsly's 100k exclusive jumpers and shirts for all your Star Wars clothing needs. So when I hit that big 1 million, I know who to look out for. Nah, but for real guys, if you want to support me through an awesome personally custom designed t-shirt or jumper, please head on over to the Teespring link in the description below. It'd help me out a lot and it'd make my day. As always, thanks for watching and I hope to see you in the next video.